Okay, well, this is going to be the spoiler review of X-Men Apocalypse. As you know, me and Sean went to an AMC pre-screening or advanced screening for the movie earlier this week. We got to check it out with a bunch of great people, great fans, hardcore advanced screeners, people in the industry, other media types, and other just people in the business, and I don't know if they were all a part of the media and whatnot, but we got to mingle, we got to network, and we got to promote a little bit with our fancy little T-shirts. Right now, I'm rocking the Batfleck, even though this is going to be a Marvel movie, Fox Marvel, not Marvel proper, but I want to get into some heavy spoilers. I'm going to go down the line of most of the cast and just give my overall thoughts of the movie. I'm going to say overall, this was not my favorite. It's not the worst. It was a great story, good adventure. Got the pacing kind of, got rocky a little bit, and the villain Apocalypse was great until the end. It was a little bit of a letdown. For example, in the trailer we saw Apocalypse growing into his giant form, and that was something I was looking forward to seeing from the cartoon. And as we all know, that Apocalypse has that ability. But that happened in the astral plane inside Professor X's mind. So that was just a battle of the mind. It wasn't really Apocalypse growing into his giant form and doing what we know he's capable of doing. So that was pretty much a letdown. But overall, and I'll start with Oscar Isaac. As Apocalypse, he was awesome. I mean, he's a great actor. He's a great performer. So he did a brilliant job playing Apocalypse. I wasn't surprised that they changed his voice a little bit, as they progressed and they produced the film and advanced forward, especially after the way he was received with those little teaser pictures. But his voice, his delivery, everything about him was great. I didn't see Oscar Isaac at all in that. Just like how Heath Ledger became the Joker, he became Apocalypse to me. So the only thing is that looking back, they went with the great actor, which was probably the best thing to do. But physically, maybe they should have gone the route with what Deadpool did with Colossus, have multiple actors contributing to his form, having a big guy play him. Maybe Oscar Isaac could have did the motion capturing on some things. Who knows? And just had a Apocalypse, not full on, what am I trying to say, Incredible Hulk, but a little bit bigger than what we got. But overall, he did a great job as Apocalypse. I believed him. I enjoyed his delivery. I enjoyed how calm he was throughout the entire movie. And then at the very end, how he became like a rage, like a force to be reckoned with. Jennifer Lawrence. Some say she phoned it in. Some say she gave a decent performance. I'm somewhere in the middle. I can see where maybe she's having a little X-Men fatigue. She was, before she became the Jennifer Lawrence superstar, the Oscar winner that we know her as today, she was a little standoffish on getting into big blockbuster franchise type movies. Now she's like in all of them. And maybe she is getting a little oversaturated, maybe not, now that she's at the end of her road. We don't need Jennifer Lawrence, honestly, for Mystique, since Mystique is a shapeshifter. Mystique can take whatever form she wants. So you can always just keep moving forward. I think having her be the symbol of a hero throughout the movie was pretty good, based on what she did in Days of Future Past. They carried that on, and she became like a symbol of hope for other mutants. She was a hero to Storm, for example, and Storm looked up to her and wanted to be just like her because of what she did for the president and stopping Magneto from assassinating the president. She was a symbol of hope for all mutants, which was a cool thing, a little storyline, which was just one of the storylines in the whole movie. And I'll get to that later. It was not necessary, if that makes sense. The way they put emphasis on her, the way they shoehorned her into the X-Men. I mean, having her there in the beginning with that relationship that she had with Professor Xavier was interesting. Having her move on from that made sense. Having her come back, I mean, is she an X-Men now? I mean, like I said, this is a spoiler review, and so at the end of the movie, when she's giving that speech, you're X-Men, forget everything that you were taught, which was kind of an insult to Professor Xavier. Like, what do you mean forget everything you were taught? You're like, you're gonna sanction this? Really? Forget everything I taught you? Just do it the way Mystique does. Kill people if you have to. Like, come on. So, I thought that was crazy. But did she phone it in? No, I don't think she's capable of phoning it in. I mean, she's a professional. She wants to do a good job. Can you tell that her heart might not have been as into it as it was maybe in the very first movie? Maybe. You could tell her heart was into it in the last movie because that was a great story. She became the Mystique that we saw in the first X-Men movie. So that was good. She didn't really do all that much to carry that, to build on top of that in this movie. So maybe she did kind of phone it in, but at the same time, they didn't give her much, but at the same time, they didn't need to, because giving her as much as she did was pretty much unnecessary. They did a great job on Days of Future Past on giving each individuals from the past, the future, and all the different characters that were inside their own time, and still making Hugh Jackman the focal. They didn't do that good of a job this time. It was too choppy. Okay, so moving on to Jean Grey, played by Sophie Turner. I didn't want to give her a chance at first because I just know her as her character on Game of Thrones, and that character was always annoying to me in the very first couple of seasons, but then won me over in recent seasons. I love her now, and I was happy. Then I became happy that she was Jean Grey, because Sophie is a great actress, and she's a beautiful Jean Grey, and they did it right. You're gonna get to see a real Phoenix doing exactly what Phoenix should have done in that third X-Men movie that's now been erased from history. They did Jean Grey's character right, and to see, and I think this is the first time we actually see Jean like fly like the way she's supposed to, like the way she did in the X-Men cartoon. I think she flew in The Last Stand. I can't remember, but the scene when you see Jean go Phoenix mode is amazing. It brought when the movie was starting to slow down and drag and start at the end, you were thinking like, okay, come on, we got to get to the end of this, and then that happens, and you're like, damn, I want more. So it's funny how they threw that in there, and the dynamic between her and Scott, the way they built onto started that off was pitch perfect. I think they did Scott's character, played by Ty Sheridan. I'm gonna say it wrong. I think he did a pretty decent job. At first, I didn't know what to think of him, and then as it moved on, when you saw how they interacted with each other, I believed them. I believed that they were a young hot couple. So I would be surprised if they're dating right now. So they convinced me that they are connected. They showed Jean and Scott communicating telepathically, and how easy he accepted her in his mind, and you could see without even really saying much about it. And it was pretty much an invasion in his mind, like get out of my head kind of a conversation. But it was still like he still accepted it so easily, and without even seeing her face. And you could tell that was an instant connection. I think that the look of Cyclops, the fact that you got his visor at the end, and the way they animated it, that light of zoom was perfect. And it seemed like they built on Cyclops as a character. They took the blueprint that you got from the first X-Men movie, and it built. This was the Cyclops we should have gotten X2, because he tore some stuff up in this movie. So I was very happy with him. James McAvoy always brings it as Professor X. He finally lost it. Welcome to the club. and him and it came full circle between him and Eric, Magneto. Magneto giving up his life of crime and wanting to have a quiet life in I don't know what country it was, maybe Holland or something like that, and he started a new family. He doesn't know about Quicksilver being his son. He had a daughter, he had a wife, and to lose them all over again, he's working with men, he's a factory worker, he's living a quiet life, and they discover that he might be Magneto, and the police have to investigate it because he saves a man's life. And even when he's trying to do good, he saves a human being from being crushed in a steel factory. And it doesn't matter. You're that guy that we saw on the news 10 years ago or whatever, and you gotta do something about it. And the way his daughter and wife get killed was a little cheesy and convenient, but still it happened, and it explains why Magneto loses his shit and joins Apocalypse, which to me doesn't make sense. Magneto is not a follower, he's a leader. So it came full circle with the conversations between Magneto and Professor X, with that relationship that you saw from the first X-Men movie, which I thought was pretty good, and they pulled it off brilliantly. It's amazing that those two characters were cast perfectly twice, and it really showed. Olivia Munn's character as Psylocke, physically beautiful. Olivia Munn is amazing. She did a great job portraying Psylocke. They didn't give her enough lines though. She was a silent warrior. I thought she would speak a little bit more but they didn't. Olivia Munn to me is becoming a great actress. Maybe she did have more lines and they decided to pull back on it and edited it out a little bit, but or I don't know. But I feel like maybe Olivia Munn will give us more in the upcoming X-Men movies, hopefully, because she is she physically is the perfect Psylocke. She did a great job. Her action scenes were great. That's all I can mention about her action scenes and everything. That was portrayed perfectly. But she wasn't given much dialogue, and maybe there was a reason for that. But I feel like the way they did it, that means that Olivia Munn's character will be a key character in the upcoming X-Men movie. Storm, one of the characters that was blessed with Apocalypse's ability to enhance powers. You saw that her abilities were just to interrupt nature just a little bit in the beginning, and then and her hair was black, and then after Apocalypse makes her one of his horsemen, she gets her white hair, and then she's able to completely control the weather and fly. And I like that about Storm. I like that she was maybe I don't know what kind of a class that would be, a low level mutant. Just could cause a little bit of maybe in the future she would have been able to get to this full potential, but Apocalypse has the ability to enhance you and make you reach your 100% full potential. Same thing that happened with the man who played Angel. His wings were damaged after a fight that he had with Nightcrawler, and Apocalypse, when he made him the Archangel, gave him his metal wings and more power and enhanced him completely. And he did the same thing for who was it? It was Magneto. It's Storm, Angel. Who was the fourth horseman? And Psylocke. So Psylocke gets enhanced. Storm gets enhanced. Angel gets enhanced. He doesn't enhance Magneto for some reason. He just teaches Magneto that you're not, even if you're not around metal, feel the ground, feel the earth, because feel the metal and the nickel and the copper and all that's inside the earth. It's always around you, which was fine. But does that mean that Magneto did not need enhancing? Because he didn't enhance him at all, and Magneto was able to disrupt the entire earth. So Magneto has already reached his full potential, or maybe Apocalypse was afraid to enhance him further, because if you enhance what he probably already saw in Magneto, then Magneto would be pretty much a god. But since Magneto was already at that level to disrupt an entire planet by himself, then what is Magneto right now? Magneto is somebody that even I believe Apocalypse was afraid of. So he only played on Apocalypse's anger and did not enhance him. So that was interesting to me. Let's see, Hank McCoy, Beast, was just there. I mean, he gave a beast performance. I mean, Nicholas Holt, he gave his performance. It was good. Wasn't anything memorable. Nightcrawler, played by Cody Smith McPhee, and he did a great job as Nightcrawler. I felt like I was watching the exact same Nightcrawler, a younger version of the Nightcrawler from X2. Did a great job. And once again, Evan Peters as Quicksilver steals the movie again. I did not think that they would be able to top that slow motion scene that they did in Days of Future Past. Not only did they top it, they pretty much doubled the time. They pretty much gave a whole quarter of the movie to him, and his rescue scene was perfect. It was weird that it was just a coincidence, but it was perfect timing. Jubilee, everybody's talking about how Jubilee was. Everybody's buzzing about Jubilee, played by Lana Condor. But she was barely in the movie. I mean, I'm thinking finally we're going to see some Jubilee powers. I mean, her powers are pretty much useless. They get better when she gets older. But she was just there. She didn't even do anything. So I don't know why people are tripping out over her. She's very pretty. But she didn't really do anything, so don't expect much. Havoc, played by Lucas Till, he sacrifices himself for his brother. I thought that was an amazing thing. I'm kind of upset about it though, but he was in the first two. I think he was in the second one, in Days of Future Past. Definitely in First Class, and him sacrificing himself to help his brother was a good passing of the torch. But it doesn't help me on what's going to happen if there's ever an X-Force movie. So what's going to happen with that? And Rose Byrne, she was pretty funny. I think there was some kind of, in the last movie that I saw her in, The Neighbors too, there was a reference I think she gave that was a little throwback to The Conjuring. Not to The Conjuring, to Insidious, and I thought she was going to do it again in this one, but she didn't. Once again, her character was there. Her character was necessary, but a little bit too much involvement. And then I'm like really, why are you running around with these godlike, mutants, man? You're just a regular human. Get out of there. What the heck is going on? And it was good to see that, even though her memories were taken away from her in First Class, they were finally given back, and it looks like there's going to be a relationship now between her and the professor. But overall, the movie was good. Not better than Days of Future Past. If I was to say, in my opinion, in my opinion, it goes overall out of all six: X2, Days of Future Past, First Class, X-Men 1, Apocalypse, and then First Stand. I saw somebody on Twitter put Deadpool in there as number one. I'm not going to count Deadpool because it's not an X-Men movie. It is a great movie. Definitely go out to see it. I would probably say I would give it a tie, really, with First Class, if anything. Is it better than X-Men 1? I'm probably going to say yes later on. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe, and then I'm probably going to go back. But overall, it's not weak, and it's not stronger than the other better films. I'm probably as of today, I'm gonna officially say I gave it a 7 out of 10. Sean gave it a 6.5. I'm giving it a tie with X-Men First Class. At this moment right now, as strong as X2 was, I'm gonna say that this second half of the trilogy is better. The prequels are better than the original, and I know that's weird to say. So I'm gonna change my mind later on, but my overall 7. I might say 6.5 tomorrow, but because I'm leaning towards where Sean's rating is 7. I'm gonna give it a 7. It's a great film to see, good adventure. If you're a child of the 90s, if you remember that cartoon, this was a perfect adaptation from that cartoon brought to life. It felt like I was watching a Saturday morning cartoon brought to life of the X-Men. But then it just kept going back to wanting to be a drama and kept going, and I was like, oh, come on, get back to the fun, you know. But Storm, they did her right. They did Scott right. They did Jean right, and that was the thing. I was not worried about everybody else, really. And they did Psylocke right. So overall, I'm really, really happy. And spoiler alert, if you're waiting for 2 cutscenes at the end of the movie, there's only one. And if you're a hardcore X-Men fan, you're going to get it. But if you're not, you're going to be like, what the hell? You're going to be Googling. So prepare to be excited, some of you. And others, I mean, people are talking about Mr. Sinister and things like that. So how do you top Apocalypse? If they would have done Apocalypse the way I kind of hoped they would have done Apocalypse, I would have been saying that same thing. Because I thought Apocalypse was supposed to be like a Thanos type, or a Darkseid type of creature, but they didn't do it that way this time at all. Maybe he'll be resurrected and he'll because he was killed in the movie. But in the beginning of the movie, thousands of years ago, he transferred his consciousness into a mutant that could heal, like Wolverine. So how did he die? He couldn't. He shouldn't have been able to die. So we'll see. If is Phoenix that strong, like damn. So we'll see. And my answer is yes, she is. But it would be able. There's a way to explain his return if he's to return. But trying to think of anything else. Overall, like I said, 7. I want to know what you guys think. Did you enjoy the movie? Will you go out and see it if you haven't seen it already? I hope you saw the movie first before seeing this, because I totally spoiled a lot of things for you. Who dies in this movie? No one really, except for Apocalypse, pretty much. No one dies. It's weird. Oh, I almost forgot. Except for all the people that Wolverine killed. We got another taste of the Berserker Barrage from Wolverine. So a lot of soldiers were killed. A lot. And prepare to be. They threw another F-bomb in there. Prepare for that too. When Magneto sees Apocalypse for the first time. Good one-liner. You're gonna love it. It reminds me of "fuck off" when he said to the professor. So it's like they got to throw an F-bomb in all these movies now. But prepare for the Berserker Barrage. You're gonna love it. It reminded me of what they did on the X2. Wolverine hates those soldiers, man. They gave him the adamantium claws. So they gave him his claws. And it looks like we're going to go deep into that. We're going to get a little taste of what Stryker is going to be dealing with in the 3rd Wolverine movie. It's going to be awesome. Let me know what you guys think. Comment. Are you excited for X-Men? Are you excited for the future of the franchise? And are you excited for these new characters that are portraying Storm, Cyclops, Jean, all these guys? And just let me know. Let's keep talking about this stuff. And remember, we're still giving away free tickets. We still haven't given away tickets to X-Men. We're only gonna do it for a weekend, and we got to move on to the next movie. But there's still free tickets to be earned for somebody out there. We reached out to the winner. He didn't accept them. So we're come on. Who wants these tickets? Become a subscriber, and when we hit every 100 subscribers, we give away free movie tickets. And we're gonna change the prizes up in the future too. So maybe we'll start giving away video games and things like that. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're giving away consoles. So we're gonna try to amp up the prizes, but we got to amp up the subscriptions. So if you want to join the conversation, let us know. Hit the subscribe button, share. Always, guys, it's been a pleasure. I would say may the force be with you, but screw it. May the force be with you.
Camaro with the wing doors would flip up.
Jim.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. No. And
She-Ra?
Rainbow, She-Ra, Princess of Power.